Hello, beautiful people, and welcome to my bullet journal setup for the month of October. I love the month of October, so I'm really excited to set up for it. I wanted to do something a bit different this month, and so I am doing some tea stain paper collages for the setup. I kind of did this last year for October as well, but last year I did 100% collage for the spread. So everything was a collage. There was no drawing whatsoever, just me writing down and making the basic lines for the spreads. But for this year, well, firstly, last year, like the collage style for October really works great if it's like dark academia and witchy kind of vibe, which it looked beautiful. But for this year, I felt like I didn't really want to do exactly the same thing. I wanted to go with that vibe because I feel like October is just perfect for the academia aesthetic, but I didn't want to repeat myself. So instead of going for a dark academia vibe, I wanted to go with a light academia vibe. So doing the collage, but still doing some drawings on it to kind of tone it down a little bit and make it look cute. And so I'm just collaging. Is collaging a verb? I hope it is. I'm just doing the collage with the types of paper. If you're wondering how to do this, the tea stain paper, there are a lot of videos on YouTube already on how to make these. You can stain paper with tea or with coffee. I actually did both. Some of these are still the ones that I used last year, whilst others are a bit new. I made them this year. If you're wondering how you add the music sheets and like the text on it, what I did was I just did the normal tea staining process, and then I made sure that I had sheets of paper that were really immaculate, so no tears, no wrinkles, no nothing. The paper had to like be really pristine as far as its not resistance, but it couldn't have any tears or any wrinkles or anything that could possibly clog up my printer, because if there are any like tears, it can snag inside of the printer and it will just create a clog, and that's not fun. You could really do some damage to your printer. Don't do that. And if the paper is looking a bit crinkly, you could get away with it by pressing the sheets of paper between heavy books, or by ironing it with some like cloth on top. So yeah, just make sure that the paper is as flat as possible, and then you get some music sheets off of the internet. There are a lot of free ones out there. The ones that I have are from Claire de Lune, because Twilight also really goes beautifully with the October vibe, and Claire de Lune isn't Twilight, so yeah, I'm that person. Yes, I am that person. And then the text, you can also really find like old PDFs and things like that, which you can very easily print on the paper. So that's what I did. I was initially going to go with a theme that's a lot more like pastel and light academia, but I was needing a darker color, so in came the coffee. And yes, it's a bit cliche because pumpkin spice lattes, but you know what? I do love me a pumpkin spice latte. So yeah, I guess I'm being a bit basic this month, but I actually love how the spread turned out, so I'm not even gonna complain about that. And yeah, I chose a quote for this month. I was missing the quotes, and I love this one. It says, "I noticed that autumn is more the season of the soul than of nature," and I really loved it because for some reason I always get my life back on track in October. Something happens, some magic juju just comes in and lines me up with fate, and life just flows. I feel awesome, and hopefully that will happen again this year, and hopefully it will for anyone who's watching this. I hope it will. I hope you'll have an awesome month. And so yeah, fingers crossed for all of us. There's always like this sort of a process with figuring out where I'm gonna be setting down the paper for the collage. And yeah, I also really recommend that if you're going to be doing this, that you plan out where you want the pieces of paper to be before you glue them down, because even though like the glue isn't that strong, you can still damage the paper where you glue them down, and then it's a bit harder to work with your spread. You're just gonna have to like figure out how to cover that bit. But yeah, I'm just really going in and planning where the doodles are for this month, for the monthly setup. I didn't want it to be as set in the corner as it was in the past month, because I was really trying to save up space to have more boxes next to the calendar, which I decided to not do this month, and really just make it a bit cleaner and a bit more aesthetically pleasing, and just really go ham with the theme on the monthly log page. I actually found that I wasn't really using the boxes that were there in the first place, like the astrological events box. I didn't even use it because I actually have one at the beginning of the yearly setup, and I kept on just going back to that one rather than keeping up with the one for the month. So yeah, I'm sorry that I'm constantly in the frame. My filming setup at the moment isn't ideal, and I'm currently struggling to both get the line straight and to figure out how to fix my filming setup, because I'm literally filming on tray on top of my bed, and so my torso is a bit too far away from the notebook, and since also my notebook is a B5 notebook, so it's bigger than your usual notebook, like I'm really far away from the ruler, and I can't see if the ruler is perfectly straight and where my pen is going. So yeah, I have to really lean over and kind of block the camera a little bit, because otherwise it would be a mess. So apologies for that, and I will try to fix this for next month, because it's really annoying for myself and it makes my life harder, and I also don't like to always be blocking the view for you guys. So we'll fix that. Don't know how. That will have to be researched and tried, but I will get it. I promise. I will figure this out. And so yeah, so for this spread, I'm keeping the things I did well and the things I need to work on spread. Really loved that for last month. It was really cool to be able to reflect on those things and both give myself a pat on the back and confront myself with the things that I really need to work on and stop procrastinating or just avoiding the elephant in the room. I had a playlist spread last month, and I decided to expand that to a books, shows, and music spread, because I actually didn't have one, and I spent a good time without watching any shows. And then last month I watched a few, and I had to write them down somewhere. I also read some books, and I wanted to write those down somewhere, and I decided to make it a full page spread because I actually want to A, keep up with that, and B, have space to write down what I thought about the books, the shows, and the songs. I really like to go back and see what past me thought about things while consuming them for the first time. And so, yeah, that's why that is there for. Now, if you watched the one from last month, my bullet journal setup for last month, I had a getting back on track log. I like the idea, and like I said, I always get my life back on track in October, so it was only fitting, but I wanted to change it because that spread really didn't work that well, and I hardly used it, so yeah, it really needed to change. And so instead of like trackers, I just decided, you know what, let's get real with myself. And so it's really just a list of the things that I want to do or achieve for the month of October, and then a list of basically fragmenting those big achievements or goals into smaller steps. So it's basically a list of things that I need to do to get to where I want to go. so that those big goals or achievements don't look as daunting, and it's easier to get in the mindset of, okay, let's do a little bit either every day or every now and then just to get on track. Let's stay focused and really just go step by step rather than feeling like it's a gigantic leap, if you understand what I'm going with. Sorry, I lost some footage halfway there. Luckily it was just a few lines that I was going with the ruler, but yeah, my phone just kind of died on me for a while there, and I lost some footage without realizing it. The habit tracker is more or less the same as last month, so there's not a big change there. Now this is different, and I'm excited for it. This is a productivity master tracker. I've never really done a spread like this before, and so the way that this is going to work, or at least the way that I hope it's going to work, is that I'm going to have an idea of where I'm getting my energy from, and how I'm spending it throughout the day. So what I did was I usually have my sleep log in a separate page, and I never really change it up that much because I feel like the one that I have is very efficient. But I did notice that, you know what, I don't really need an entire page for it, and I was tracking down hours that I don't usually use because I never really go to bed that early and never get up from bed that late. So basically the bar there, it tracks the hours of the day, so that I track down when I went to sleep, when I woke up, and so I have an idea of how many hours I slept and from when to when. And so I reduced those hours a little bit, just basically have the ones that I always use. And so I have that. Next to it I have an energy levels tracker with a little sun and a little moon signifying the beginning of the day and the end of the night, so that I can track down the peaks of energy. So when I had the most energy throughout the day, just so that I can actually like better plan my time for future months, because I've never actually done this, and so I'm not really that aware of when I have my peak of energy because it tends to change. Then I have my time that I spent meditating, because I do get more energy when I meditate, and a productivity tracker. So if my productivity level was high, medium, or low throughout the day, and something that I did that was productive throughout the day, if I did something, because sometimes I don't do anything productive, and that is perfectly fine. Sometimes you just need to rest. Now, I hope that that tracker really works. I hope that it will. I will let you guys know, and you'll also know because you will see me doing it again if it does work. And now going in with the weekly spread, I decided to more or less keep the layout that I had for last month. I felt like it worked really well. I felt like the boxes were finally the perfect size for a weekly spread, and so I decided to keep those, and then just change up the boxes a little bit for the things that I'm not tracking within each day. So like the nutritionist plan tracker, because I am following a plan to lose some weight, a to-do list, and I did add a miscellaneous, is that how you say miscellaneous stuff box. Just I felt like I had the need for like a sort of a small brain dump for each week. Just so I had a place where I could write down like random stuff that I might need to remember or keep track of, or just something that I wanted to like write down for my future self. So I added that, and then the layout for like the rest is pretty similar to what I did last month. It was very functional, so I decided to keep it. I might spice things up next month. But for now, I really liked how this worked for me, so I decided to keep that. Going in to correct some mistakes with some white gel pen, and now we're finally going in for the final flip through. I hope that you guys enjoyed this spread as much as I enjoyed making it. It was really fun to just play around with things that I'd already done before, but just give them a new twist, and I really love how this turned out. And yeah, I'm really excited to use it. I haven't been this excited to use a month in my bullet journal for a while now. Really happy to see if this is going to work. I feel like it's going to be functional. And so yeah, I'm really excited. And I will let you guys know if it really is functional. And thanks so much for watching. I'll see you later. Bye!